They called him Jack the Giant Killer. But Jack hated that name more than anything. Every time the villagers shouted it in drunken admiration, every time the children whispered it in awe, Jack felt something hollow gnawing inside him. They thought the title was honor. Jack knew it was a curse. For when you kill giants, you can never go back to being small. The truth no one dared ask him, the truth no one wanted to hear, was that giants did not fall like monsters in a fairy tale. They bled. They screamed. And sometimes, just before the final blow, they begged for their lives. And those screams never left Jack's head. Part 1, A Boy with Blood on His Hands. Jack had been only 16 when he killed his first giant. The creature had stumbled into the valley, towering over cottages, with hands like oaks and eyes that burned with sorrow rather than rage. People panicked, running to the fields, grabbing pitchforks, shouting for salvation. Jack's father pushed him forward, sword in hand, muttering, "It's your time to be a man." So Jack fought. And somehow, through a mixture of fear and luck, he drove his blade deep into the giant's chest. The monster fell. The village erupted in cheers. His father clasped his shoulder and said, "You'll be remembered forever." But when Jack leaned over the dying giant, he heard it whisper, voice thick with blood. "I was only looking for food. My children are starving." The cheer of the villagers drowned out the words, but Jack never forgot them. Part 2, The Weight of a Name. Years passed, and the name followed him like a shadow. Jack the Giant Killer. Children carved his likeness into wood. Balladeers sang of him in taverns. Mothers whispered his story to keep their children brave. But Jack carried guilt like armor no song could pierce. Every giant he killed added another scar to his soul. Some had attacked without reason. But some had only wandered too close. Too hungry, too desperate, too lost. And yet, he kept fighting. Because he couldn't stop. Because every time a giant appeared, the villagers looked to him. Because if he refused, they would call him coward instead of hero. And cowardice, he feared, was worse than death. Part 3, The New Threat. One winter night, a messenger arrived in the village, half-frozen and wild-eyed. "A horde is coming," he gasped. Giants, dozens of them, marching from the north. Panic erupted. Fires were lit, bells rang, and villagers demanded that Jack lead them once again. He stood in the center of the crowd, face pale, hands trembling, as chants rose around him. Jack the Giant Killer. Jack the Giant Killer. But inside, Jack wanted to scream, "I don't want this. I never wanted this." Still, he agreed. Because how could he not? If he refused, the guilt of their deaths would rest on him as surely as the weight of every giant he had slain. So Jack sharpened his blade. Part 4, The Unexpected Truth. The giants came at dawn. But they did not come with weapons. They came carrying banners of white cloth. They came limping, ragged, with children clinging to their knees. They stopped at the edge of the valley, not to charge, but to kneel. The eldest among them stepped forward, voice booming but broken. "We do not seek war. Our lands are dying. Famine devours our kin. We ask only to share the earth with you." The villagers recoiled. To them, giants were monsters. Their fear outweighed their reason. Shouts rose, "They'll crush us in our sleep. Kill them before they kill us." And all eyes turned to Jack. Part 5, Jack's Conflict. Jack froze. His whole body shook with the weight of choice. If he lifted his sword, he could end it. The villagers would cheer. He would remain their hero. But he saw the children clinging to the giants, thin and hollow-eyed, shivering in the cold. He saw not monsters, but people, just larger, hungrier, desperate. The villagers screamed at him, "Do it, Jack. Strike them down." And inside Jack's head, the voices of every giant he had killed thundered. The ones who begged. The ones who wept. The ones who whispered of starving children. For the first time in years, Jack wondered, what if I am the monster? Part 6, The Twist. Jack lowered his sword. I will not kill them, he said. They mean no harm. The crowd roared in anger. His father spat at his feet. Coward. Traitor. But before Jack could speak again, an arrow shot from the crowd, striking one of the giant children. The child screamed, collapsing into the snow. Chaos erupted. Giants bellowed in grief. Villagers shrieked in terror. And suddenly, the fragile peace shattered into war. Part 7, Battle in the Snow. The giants fought, but not with swords, they fought to protect their young. Villagers fought, but not with strategy, they fought out of blind fear. Jack was caught in the middle, blade flashing, not against giants or villagers, but against both, trying to stop the slaughter. He disarmed his own people, cut ropes, knocked arrows from the air. He screamed until his throat tore, "Stop! This is not the way." But no one listened. When the snow finally settled, the field was a graveyard. Villagers and giants alike lay broken, their blood mingling in red rivers across the white earth. And Jack stood in the middle, sword falling from his hand, the title echoing in his head like a curse, Jack the Giant Killer. Part 8, Aftermath. The survivors stared at Jack with hatred. You betrayed us, they spat. You sided with monsters. You let our children die. And yet, the giants who remained looked at him differently. They saw the man who had refused to kill them. The man who had tried to bridge a world of fear with mercy. Jack left the village that night, unable to bear their stares. He walked north with the surviving giants, helping them bury their dead, sharing in their grief. And for the first time, he did not feel like a hero, nor a monster. He felt human. Conclusion, the intriguing ending. Years later, rumors spread of a man who walked among giants, neither their king nor their slave, but their bridge. Some called him traitor. Some called him peacemaker. But the children of the giants called him something else. Jack the Protector. And though the world would always remember Jack the Giant Killer, Jack himself knew the truth. The greatest giant he ever killed was not a creature of flesh and bone. It was the fear inside him.